Uh, okay, let's see, continue.
I'm sorry, I forgot to do that sooner.
That's okay.
I made a big note for myself.
Record. Okay, so I'll just say my name is Shakara Tosha, and my spirit name I was given by Chief Golden Light Eagle is Huichape Tosha Washtewi. It means beautiful violet star woman, and the star people I work with, and Sasquatch are also star people, I'll talk about a little bit, gave me the name Shakara, and they told me to do the spirit walk. So at the end, I don't really want to talk too much about myself because there's so many important things that I'd like to share. But I have been connected to star people all my life, especially Arcturians, Sasquatch. All these guides started coming in and telepathing with me. I was an artist. I would paint these signs and symbols. And then I started spontaneously doing light language, which has become like a really new hot thing. Everybody seems to be doing some kind of graphic or dance or verbal expression of light language. So I speak lots of star languages. That was activated by another grandmother, and now it's happening all over the world. It's really interesting. So a lot of these languages are actually from the star nations, and because I've done this for a while, I can kind of identify what the guides are. But it's really what's happening for all of us. I guess what I want to say is we're shifting into these higher dimensions, and this is what this ascension time, the shift time is all about. That's what's going on in the world and why these changes are happening, so that we can really, really graduate into a truly golden age. It's really happening. So, I just want to take a moment and say for everyone that is experiencing this world right now, it is very challenging. And it's also a really, really important time to come back to your center, to tune in with your guides, to tune in with your community, to tune in with your land. And the Sasquatch are guides that are really helping us do this. So all these star people came to me and they gave me lots and lots of messages. I'll just share very quickly, but for about 7 years, I was in New York City for 35 years doing I'm an artist, but I was also working in communications companies, then connected with Chief Golden Light Eagle. I found a symbol online that led me to him, and he did all these star knowledge conferences. And long story short, he was in the Midwest, and my daughter and I left New York City and stayed with him with their family for a little while, and then was around him for about 4 years on and off, doing sweat lodges and ceremony, Sundance, and all these really sacred ceremonies. So I learned quite a lot from this man. I consider him to be my brother. There was a mutual connection, and I just want to honor him right now as a teacher and as an elder. So many elders are shifting over to the other side of the veil. But Chief Golden Light Eagle, for anyone that doesn't know him, please find some YouTubes and things like that online. He was, I think, one of the most profound people walking this earth, and his messages and teachings, 1111 codes and things are still available, and he's around. So all these guys, these guides are working with us now. So he's definitely present here because one of the things he taught me was it's a law of attraction. Kelly knows this, Brian knows this, Mike, Christina, Hale, everybody in the Sasquatch conference. We're coming together because we have done some work together in the past, and or we're working in higher dimensions, and all our guides are connected. So there's no coincidence if you're on this call, you are part of our family. And there's an instant recognition when you see each other. We just know. So I have been missing this because what happened was I was going on the road, traveling at all these conferences, met thousands of people, did lots of work on the land all over the United States. And then for 3 years, my partner and I went back to Wisconsin and were completely off grid. Didn't talk to people I talked to 2 people in 2 years. Fast forward, I moved to Sedona. I'm now in Sedona. So I'm also bringing these energies of the red rocks here. So, just sharing these vibrational tools with you. These rocks, for anybody that hasn't come here, are very, very profound awakeners. There's lots of codes here. There's lots of Sasquatch, lots of star people. I go up and look at the stars every night, and I'm seeing ships and everything. So a lot of stuff is revealing right now, which I'll talk about later. But what happened was I started getting these downloads of messages, and just like the Sasquatch, they come in dream time. Then I would see them physically. I've always seen them physically, and I want to share a little bit about that in a minute. But they started downloading messages to me that I started writing down. That has now been 7 years worth of every day, about 7 hours every day. And they wake me up on these time codes. So 222 is a really, really important time code because it's kind of an opening. 333, 444 is an Arcturian time code. So a lot of you vibrate with these master numbers. So this day is really, really important because when you get this many sequential numbers together, these master numbers are activators. They're symbols, they're codes, they're portals. There's so much going on. But so as I was waking and downloading this, I started writing. I was dyslexic, didn't know how to do this. And the chief said, you're going to write a book about creation and help people understand their vibration, tune in with their higher self, connect with the star guides, all the stuff. And I had no idea. That was about 7 years ago. Now I'm pulling all this material together that I'll share later, but hundreds and hundreds of books. So lots of stuff I want to share. And at the end, I'll share a little bit about what I do if you want to connect with me, but I am here for you. I made a pact when I was very young to be of service to humanity. And this is what happens. So it's overwhelming. I'm going through menopausal hot flashes. All this stuff is going on, but it's so profound and it's so worth it. So what I want to share is some of these messages quickly that the star people and the Sasquatch came through. So I thought because this is not just a gathering, it's not just a grouping of people, it's really ceremony. Everything is a ceremony. So I thought I would start it off by singing this Anishinaabe song that I learned through a couple elders. Everybody knows it a little bit differently, but I think what I learned from this chief is these are calling songs. So when we were in the sweat lodges, when you use a song, utilize a song and tune into a song, it's the vibrations and the sequences of the song that call in these energies, these guides, these spirits, these helpers. They're all helpers for us. So you have 7 guides, as I learned from this chief, that walk with each of us. They're aspects of you in all these different realms, in the earth realm, star realm, ascended mastery realm, that kind of thing. But any guide you can tap into any guide. And what I've learned is that all these guides have different vibrations and principles. So Sasquatch has very specific things that they resonate with, work with, and carry. So I just want to share that. And then I also want to speak some star language. So some of it is light language, some of it will be Arcturian or Sasquatch, and some of it is just a vibrational thing. So don't worry if you don't understand it. Please ask me questions about it. But there's so much coming in about these languages and expressions. So everybody does this in a different way. And so with that, I'm just going to sing the song, do that, and then kind of shift gears a little bit. Also, I want to mention there are so many energies around. Brian was talking about this morning. This vibrational sequence between this time that's happening and all of us gathering. This is really what's going on. It almost doesn't really matter what we say, you know. And something else came in too. I really want to honor Clifford Mahudi right now. Clifford, I know, went to the Star Knowledge conferences. I met him many, many times. And the Sasquatch conference. So many of you who attended or knew him. He just passed away recently. I went to a beautiful ceremony here that honored him, and his son, Clive, is taking over his responsibilities now. So you hear a lot more from him. But Clifford, like Chief and all our elders, had incredible things to share. I learned a lot from him, as we all have, and that'll be coming out through his continued teaching. So I'm kind of honoring these elders and anybody else who's with us, all the star guides. I just want to say blessings and thank you. Thank you for our elder brothers and sisters, our family, star people that are present now. Thank you for everybody who's tuning in with this call now or later. And I'd like to sing the Sasquatch song. Wichakpe Tosha Washtewi Shakara Tosha. Yahweh, 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 Yah, Yahweh, 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 Yah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yah. Yahweh, 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 Yah, Yahweh, 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 Yah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yah. Migwish Kichi Sabe, Yahweh, 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 Yah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yah. Ikina Kanku Anishinaabe, Yahweh, 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 Yah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yah. Kisa Kikakue, Yahweh, 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 Yah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yah. Yahweh, 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 Yah, Yahweh, 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 Yah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yah. Shia Tanka Wopila, Yahweh, 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 Yah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yah. Yahweh, 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 Yah, Yahweh, 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 Yah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Yah. Wopila Pidama. Tukanshila, Unshimaka, Wichakpe, Wihokpe, Untu Washingir Wasante, Mula Kainin and Washandete. Inema Mosha, I seek it to Washin in a Wasante, the Wula Kaina Moshokote. So I'm going to speak star language because this is how it happens for me. I just get holographic messages and stuff comes through. So one of the things I want to share, it's like Chief, the star people, the Arcturians, the Sasquatch are all here. They're all present always. And they say, like, when we sing these songs, any kind of vibration that we make in our vibrational sequence is a connection. It's a language. And ultimately we speak the language of love. It's a higher language, but when we sing these songs, they carry vibrational codes. So this is what I learned, is especially all the indigenous songs are star languages, like Lakota is Pleiadian. I think Zuni is something else. And so even these sing-song parts, the Yahweh, Yahweh, have a coding combination to awaken our senses. So this is also what happens with the light language and the star language that I speak or I receive from other people. So it's just a transference of energy. So I really want to thank you for letting me share that and just kind of shift over. I think what I'd like to do is kind of toggle back and forth with my screen if I can. I'm watching the time too. This is going to go quick. There's a lot to share, but I will just click through this quickly, and then whatever. I'm just moved by spirit, whatever I'm supposed to do. I'm just in that vibration. So let me just check. Tell me when you can see the screen. Can you see the screen? Okay, good. All right, it's just popping up. So real quick, and I don't want to make this super slick. I just thought it would be good to kind of walk through some of these things. This is usually how I share these messages. But this is kind of what's going on this ascension time, that we're all light, sound, and vibration. And what's key for this, as we're talking now, is the Sasquatch are high vibrational star beings that are here. What I understand, I mean, everybody's getting different messages from them. A lot of them are coherently the same, and a lot of them are kind of different flavors. But what they show me is that they are star people and humans. So they carry the same human DNA as we do, but they were here first. They have another kind of galactic energy, and they're working with all these codes of creation. So very quickly, they show me that they've come back here now because they want to heal the earth, because they also have this symbiotic relationship with the earth, like a being, as we all do. There's a reason that we're physically here. So they show me many, many messages about who they are and also why we're here and how we're starting to work together. So this is what Kelly had mentioned early on in some of the conferences, that they're looking for ambassadors. So we are the human ambassadors, almost like avatars, less to be a channeler for them and more to connect with them in a higher vibration. So this happens differently for everybody. This is kind of what I'm shown. So many people connect with Sasquatch. Everybody does it differently. What I loved, and I really want to say this again, with the Sasquatch conferences that I went to, what was so beautiful was everybody came and shared a personal story. You know, it was very much in the heart. And I think this is the key with these beings. They're very heartfelt beings. And I think that just like the Star Nations and the ETs and all that stuff, you know, our society has put images out there to scare people because they don't want people to make that connection. Well, they're very real. Yeah, there's some good and negative intentions, just like people. But all my experiences with Sasquatch have been really, really beautiful, seeing them on the land and connecting with them. And I'm sure, you know, there's a psychic connection. That's why Kelly talks a lot about the psychic Sasquatch, but they're heart people. So I call them people. So what I learned in the Lakota way is everything is a nation of people. I've learned to call everything people, even the rock people, the water people, elemental people, star people, and Sasquatch people, because we're all working together and there's no differentiation. So in Lakota, they say mitakuye oyasi, which means all my relations. So we're all related, and everybody on this call is related too. So real quick, what's interesting is this this picture on the bottom right was I was going on a reservation, the Toto Hokum, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it correctly, but south of Tucson. And we walked in a gift shop and there was this piece of pottery that was picture of Sasquatch. And I said, wow, that was just phenomenal. I think I have another picture here. Here's a couple, that was the piece of pottery, but just that all of these indigenous cultures are connected to star people and connected to Sasquatch. They've all had experiences. They don't talk about it that much, but this is something that's very real for them. So I just wanted to share that real quick. I'm going to jump around a little bit because this is kind of what happens. I'm just moved by energies about what I'm supposed to show. So one of the things Sasquatch tells me is they taught me how they shapeshift and manifest and move energy. So this is a drawing that they showed me, kind of how they move through different dimensions, which I can talk about a little bit later. But I want to just kind of keep going through this. So what happened to me, some of you may have experienced this, lots of guides started coming. So I just wanted to quickly go through these names of these guides. They came in during time, they showed me these things, but each of these are like teachers to me. So there was a clan leader, Sasquatch, who, you know, they all have different traits and they all look different, almost like different tribes of people. Two of the biggest guides that I work with is one called C2, which is a female guide. She's almost like an aspect of me. This chief told me that I have a Sasquatch guide, which I think we all do, kind of a protector, almost like a dragon guide, but also they are the ones that are teaching me things. But he said many of us, and he said for me specifically, we have Sasquatch in our DNA. So it could be from star systems, it could be from actual genetic lineage. I don't know, but there's a real deep connection I think all of us have with them. So anyway, I'll just keep going. This male guide that works with me often is this one named Kite. What's real interesting about him is, you know, as they're upgrading me, as they're teaching me things, they're showing me how to teach this to other people, which is quite interesting. So one of the things is when he comes, I hear this name, but I hear it in different vibrations based on how he's feeling or what dimension he's working on. So all of this is really starting to shift into how we can work with and transverse these different dimensional realms. It's quite fascinating. Then there's this ancient one tribe that when I was doing sweat lodges, would see them coming up the driveway up to the sweat lodge and come around and protect the sweat lodge. They were literally about 40 feet tall. I could see them in my psychic vision and I could feel them around. And they were guardians. They were wearing this regalia, I guess. There are these An tribes, which are related to this Anta Karana. And again, these might be aspects of other energies or whatever, but however these guides come to you is how you know them. It's how they declare themselves to you, but it's really what's familiar to you. It's almost like aspects of your higher self. So what I want to share is everything that's happened to me is happening to all of us. Some of us are a little bit more aware of this, but we will see more of this come out right now, starting today, moving forward. So there was this little Sasquatch tribe. They're so cute. They look like little Japanese grandmothers that are just kind of stand in the corner when we were doing sweat lodges and ceremony. It's just really phenomenal. So anyway, these Star Nation hybrid children came through. This one called Sunukaya. You know, the Sasquatch are really, there's a group of Sasquatch I'm shown that work specifically with Earth. So each one of them have kind of different dimensional areas that they attend to. One of the things I'm being shown to say is when you go out on the land, they're like gateways in the land. So when you move through the land, what I've learned, what they've showed me and the elementals have showed me is to tune in with the vibration of nature and offer something. You know, I offer tobacco, which I have right here. I'm kind of holding in my hand as a prayer. But you can offer cornmeal or just a song or a prayer. I know many of you that are connected to Sasquatch, you gift them something, some food or something, but it's really, all of this is really about honoring and respect. So the honoring and respect we should show the land will show back to us. You know, when you drink water, say a prayer. Everything is a prayer right now. And I think this is going to be our protection through this time. This is what I'm really shown. This is us walking through this world and becoming our full spiritual self while we're becoming our full multidimensional physical self. So all these guides are working together. So my point is tap into them. You know, I think the key message that Sasquatch show me is really, really important to get on the land and have a relationship with the land. So they're saying, you know, hold a rock, drink water, talk to the land, look at the stars, absorb the sun in your body. These elements of nature are the things that are going to protect us through these times and protect us to be deeply connected to our higher self, you know, the spirit realm, the star people, but especially each other as a community. And I think this is what's really important. Anyway, I'm just going to flip through this. These are many other guides that came to me. And this is just Sasquatch. So if you're interested, I will do a little shameless plug. I'm going to start to roll out some books on each one of these guides. So this is going to be quite interesting. But it's really messages that they gave me to share with people. So these are more guides that came to me. This Unchikara, Sasquatchi, Maniku, you know, Kaitel, Shiloah, and Haladi. Now I know Kali is connected with Haladi. I think she's working with lots of us right now. So real quick, this is how they come to me. And what I love is hearing how different people have an experience with them. So I'll just quickly go through this. I feel them in the forest, but they're everywhere. The funny thing was when I was in Tucson, walking through the desert, I felt them around. We were driving in a car and the car shook and they came in and there was a smell and everything. And they're like, you think we're just in the forest. We're kind of everywhere. So these are the things that, this is how they come to me and how they're going to start coming to all of you more and more. In telepathy, you'll get visions in dream time. They'll come through your artwork. They'll come to you, you know, basically when your heart is open. That's what I want to share. I've had many, many connections with them. Real quick, I'll say maybe 2 or 3. And this is all the stuff that's going to be in the books that I'm writing. And also, you know, free videos and that kind of thing. So I just want to share this right now because it's so fascinating to me what's happening. And what I'm experiencing every day is just, it's amazing. So, you know, I saw them when I was a child. I used to go to these twin caves. I have a picture of this later, I'll show, in Illinois. And I'd go in and they would come and as energetic forms and as orbs along with other star people. And they just give me messages. When I was at camp, I mean, everybody that has a camp experience, if you're in tune with this, they'd come and they walk through the forest. You know, I've seen them moving trees and that kind of thing. What was phenomenal is they come around children, especially because they like that high vibration, but they also like different kinds of ceremony when it's done from the heart. So we did during 3 specific sun dances. I'm a 4-year sun dancer in the Lakota tradition, and I do vision quest fasting, Hambleche, and that kind of thing. And during the sun dances, it was so phenomenal. One time they came in as these orbs of light that started activating the children in the tents when they were sleeping, and they went down the tents and I actually saw it. I was the only adult that was awake of about 200 people or so. And they came, well, that I knew about. And they came into the tent. It was like a little orb. And as it would move down, I saw it go down this pathway and awakened every one of these children. And they started talking light language in their sleep, which is fascinating. When we were doing ceremony or sweat lodges or sitting around the fire, many of us experienced huge trees moving back and forth. Some of us could see them. So they were going in and out of dimensions. It was just fascinating how they would come to us. in the sweat lodges, they would actually walk in and I could see them etherically, like many of the guides there. For those of you who have done sweat lodges, it's a very profound experience. Or you could feel them touching you or moving around. When I was fasting on the hill, when I was doing a vision quest for in preparation for Sundance, had an extremely profound experience where I had chosen to be, excuse me, out on the land near the forest so I could talk to the forest people. And I had this very thin wrapper around me of prayer flags and prayer ties. And first Arcturians came, and I had a very interesting experience where they were basically calibrating my energy. So we don't eat or drink for 4 days, but I was completely coherent the whole time. And then the third night on the full moon, it was just fascinating. They came out from all 4 directions, and they were walking toward me, and I'm completely alone there with other people, like a couple hundred yards, feet, away from me. So nobody was around but me. And it was overwhelming. And I got very scared. And I said to myself, fear is in the mind. And this is very, very important to get out of your 3D mind of being hurt or something happening or something. When you open your heart, that's actually your protection, So anyway, they all came around. I'll tell this story longer later, but I could see them in the trees right in front of me, maybe 50 yards, 25 or 50 yards away. And after they started telepathing with me and said, here, I'm going to actually stop this screen if I can do this. Hold on 1 second. Let's see. You guys still there? Okay. So can you see me? Okay. I just thought it's better to actually share. So they came around, which was so fascinating. And I could see families, I could see a mother and a baby. They were talking, this couple started talking that was like, almost like a couple bickering. And then I realized their vibrations started bouncing off each other. And then they started blending. And I realized they're talking at a higher dimension. So, and many of us have experienced this, when you hear them in the forest, they use a different voice box because it's configured differently. What they show me is their head is actually, their skull they have one brain. And so they push sound from their vocal box in the same way that whales kind of tone sound. So they're working with this higher resonant frequency in these higher and lower dimensions. But anyway, I just thought it was fascinating to have that experience. And then they started telepathing with me, all these messages, and I could feel them coming in, many of the messages that I received. But they said the most important thing is that they are here to help the land, and they're here to help people remember. So lots of things came in real quick just from that one instance. But one of the things that they shared was they are here to recalibrate the land. So they're, in the same way you hear a lot of star people bringing in and taking elements and minerals from the land, they're bringing in this kind of galactic metal, they're showing me, and they work with the combination of higher developmental technologies and metals, if you will, that have a consciousness, just like the, Arcturians and all the other star people, Pleiadians, whatever, but they're fusing it with Earth. So one of the experiences I had was in dream time, and then it was almost like an overlay of an experience, just looking at my time here, where I came behind a Sasquatch, which I think this happened in a higher dimension, where it was like a silverback, and I saw him holding this rod that was like almost like the rods of Osiris or something, and it was rotating. And he said, I asked him what he was doing because we can telepath, and he said that he was recalibrating the ley lines at that particular place. So a lot of you, I know, this happens often to me when you're walking on a path and you see the stones or the rocks, especially the branches, the glyphs there, or the structures in the, they build housing structures or vibrational things. A lot of these are in the same way that the star people come down and create crop circles. What they're showing me is these glyphs that they put on the land activate the land there. And when a human goes through, it awakens something in them. So it's much more than just a sign or a symbol. They're tools. So all of this to say, there's so many tools that they're sharing with us that we don't really understand unless you shift into a higher consciousness. Then you can see what all this is. So Kelly, I don't know if you remember this. I was mentioning when we were at the Sasquatch conference last time, they guided me to go to a tree that was open and take some sap and put it on your wrist. I said, okay, that's interesting. And then they said, ask other people to do that. And they said, the sap is like the blood or the essence of the tree. Like water, it carries memory. So when you put it, especially here directly on your skin, you're downloading and uploading in information. You're getting informed from the inside out. And then it's almost like a connection device, or how they communicate. You know, they can work through these things. So I guess what I also wanted to share is really these key messages. I'm watching the time, so maybe I can shift back into a couple things here. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen again. Let's see. There we go. Okay. And these are a couple things of what they're showing me that they share with people. So they're sharing these things with me, but they're sharing with everybody who what I'm getting is everybody who's open and aware and listening. You know, how to get in touch with your body, how to experience the world around you and manifest things. What is your connection with yourself and other people? I'm just going through this list a little bit. They work a lot with etheric blueprint energy. I don't know if any of you have had that experience, but one of the things was I went in a cave with the Sasquatch, and they were moving this kind of blue liquid, almost like liquid mercury, but it was etheric energy through the stones and healing the stones and working with this almost like a conductive device. And the Arcturians did the same thing within the body. And they said, this is like the 0 point etheric energy that they are moving, I guess, moving on the land and moving through the rocks. And it's one of the ways that we communicate with each other and these other higher dimensions. So let's see, they're telling me a lot about how they work with crystal energy, and also how humans are becoming crystalline. So we're remembering our blueprint. We're going back to our original blueprint. And so this is why nature and minerals and things are so important right now. They're showing me how to work with the dynamic photons that are coming from the sun. So one of the messages they say is to get out in the sun as much as possible, because it raises your vibration, et cetera, et cetera. There's so much that's going on, but these are all really working with the codes of nature to activate something inside of yourself and open yourself up. So how to work with patterns, how to see patterns and everything. There's just a couple things I want to click through here. These are the key messages. If there's any kind of overarching theme that they're showing me, is how to have respect for everything, including yourself. And I think this is very important, because when you honor yourself, you're a part of creation. You can honor everything. It's like, what I'm really getting at is all these guides, especially Sasquatch, Arcturians, these vibrations, Hathors, I mean, so many of them, the trees, the water, they're all guides too. The elementals are actually guides, is that everything is connected, that we all knew, but we forgot. So there's this understanding, or what this chief called a knowing, an inner knowing, that you click into. It's ancient. So, you know, we're developing new practices, new ways of living in the world and being, but these are really ancient things that are coming back around. And this is my understanding of what it means to complete the circle is, you know, everybody needs to work together and have this balance. And when we find that inside of ourselves, we can very easily see it in other people, in children and animals. I mean, it's just pure innocence. It's just a higher vibrational way of being. They just keep saying, we're loving beings. You're loving beings. Remember, what that means. Giving gratitude for everything you experience. Thank yous for prayers answered. Always give back and return to nature and the heart of Gaia. I think this is really, really important right now. So we are made of nature. We are part of creation, and we are creation ourselves. So this is a one little phrase that they told me, that these words and combinations carry a frequency that I'm supposed to share with people. There are many like this, but this is one. So I'll say this in star language. Mumosa esiketatoeshine, wichapitoshawashti, untu kala, omarabaka, itala antika, shutamanikal, unshu takara, mintaka ulu takani, untikara, sudami mintaka. So this is the thing I want to share about light language and star language and Sasquatch speak and all this stuff. It really doesn't matter how it comes out. It's just a vibrational sequence. So some people will hear certain words, other people will say certain things or do different codes. I think what's really important, one of the key messages I learned from all these guides and the elders, is that everybody has a voice, everybody has a message, and everybody has some unique way that they express themselves. So for me, this is how it came, because this is somehow related to the moment that I brought this in. If I did it 5 minutes later, it'd be something different. So it's less about the literal meaning. It's really about shifting into kind of higher vibrations. So this is what they tell me a little bit about who they are. And I'm sure most of you on this call are getting similar messages from the ones that you connect with. Just how they're revealing to us now is they're shifting into these dimensions. The veils between dimensions are very, very thin right now. And what I'm seeing is that many people are having awakenings, but they're really just opening. They're just opening. All time and space, all dimensions, past, present, and future, everything exists here right now. So we just have to be present and be in that kind of 0 point space, and everything comes alive. For those of you that have had that experience, it's like, it's, you know, when they talk about escaping the matrix, what I got the other day from one of the star people is each of us is a matrix of energy. It's how form comes together. It's how vibrational sequences are happening and that kind of thing, without getting too quantum. The bottom line is that we are creating life at every moment. And this is one of the things that the Sasquatch show me. They move interdimensionally and they're shape shifting because it's possible. So some of us have seen them and then they just disappear. They didn't really go anywhere. They just went into another sort of vibrational aspect. And what they're starting to do is come around each of us and show us actually how to do this through the experience that we have with them. So one of the things they say is just open up and connect with them, because they're all here. They're teaching people telepathy. So we all know telepathy. Telepathy is a language, but these higher senses are coming on board now for us to actually use them as tools to start to communicate. So right now we're on a call, we're using technology, we're seeing things through the internet. This is a precursor to actually using telepathy. So all technology is not negative if it serves a purpose to get people connected, as far as I could see. And then this is, I'll just show you real quick. These are things that I do to, you know, basically activate people, open people up, help people, support people in lots of different ways. I do these star messages, just a little clip about, you know, how I'm getting these messages out to people through this newsletter. I do these private sessions, which I'm available to for anyone. It could be connecting with light language, connecting with your star guides, that kind of thing, helping raise your vibration. So just like what's happening now, these light language messages come through, and then my guides talk to your guides on a higher frequency, and I just share what I'm supposed to share. So it's all It's all happening. I also do these oracle cards that were some of my artwork. You know, again, this is not about me, but this is how I'm shown that when I make creative expressions, I guess, they activate me, but they also help other people. But this is really, all of my work is about raising a vibration to encourage each person to raise their vibration and express their gifts. So everybody can do this. This is just how it came to me. So these are some prints I offer and artwork, but really it's not about, you know, selling my goods and services. It's really just showing an aspect of how this came through for me. So like when I was painting these paintings, I was tuning into these energetic orbs. This is actually what I see, or this blue etheric energy was showing me what the you know, what the higher realms look like. And then I started doing these energy frequency signatures. So this is just for me to show you a little bit about how this comes through for me, but lots and lots of other stuff, these rune cards, whatever. And then I'm just gonna get out of this. Let's see. Let me know if you can see me again. Hold on one second. Am I back on? Okay, good. So key messages. I've got 2 minutes to wrap up. So much I'd love to share. This is really my gift to all of you. The point being, everyone has a gift to share with each other. I really want to connect with each one of you. Each person has something very, very important to share out of their experience. And I think this is one of the things that the Sasquatch people are showing me, you know, showing how to resonate at high vibrations. They are incredibly loving beings, which I'm sure that most of you that have connected with them can feel, that they really come from their heart. They're helping us within our physical body. These guides are in our realms that we don't even see, just like guardian angels or something that are coming around and helping. So what I thought I'd do is I just end with a little light language, a little Sasquatch, Sas talk, if I may. But I thank you for your time, and thank you for listening to what I was able to share. And just know that I am here for each and every one of you. This is what I do now. I'm completely moved by spirit, and anything I can do to be helpful on your life journey, please let me know. But I'm really excited to hear the other speakers and hear what's going on and hear what people are experiencing, because this collective, this is what I'll leave you with before light language. This circle is so important. It's really important, especially during these times, to come together, to work together, to support each other, to listen to each other, encourage each other. And I am really moved by each one of your offerings, your trials and tribulations, your pain points that you've resolved, you know, but just, and your joy and your expression of life. So it's going to get a little tricky in the next couple of days, weeks, months, but please know that all of this has a purpose. And what I'm shown is we are creating, you know, heaven on earth. This is what this golden time is about. We're really, really bringing in these energies, and this is what's happening. We are going to see star people more. We are going to see Sasquatch more. They're revealing themselves and walking together with us, just like they did in ancient times. This is what Clifford talked about with the Zunis and the Kachinas. So in Sedona, I'm feeling these energies. I live right next to Thunder Mountain, and I'm seeing ships come in and out and all this stuff. And wherever you are is exactly where you're supposed to be on the land to do that work. But we have to come together to support each other and activate these codes in each other. So this is what I'll leave you with. Suma tu la kaine na washante musa isikita tu washine ima da la kaine washamotese. Ana o sukotu shingira wasamano washante le o sukatu shingira wasame. Minuno shanka ola kai duste gene washante no aktu du washine wasamba do washikine. Nila kaina, wakti de washanumo sakaite de. Nina no ala kaina mo shampatose. Inano washanto shingiro wasannino shimbuti sikite do shinkuto shingiro wasante. Ala usuma to shinkini. Bu isi keteto do shimano wasanke. Ama nisa kusuko to shingiro wasante do washani. Wobilapitama. Thank you. Thank you. I love you all. Please connect with me and let's do this. Do this work, do this play. We call it plurk. We created this little word called plurk. So with that, thank you again for the sharing. And I would like to, I guess I have what, a couple more minutes, 15 minutes, or am I done?